Hello everyone and welcome to this new video. I'm Ombra and today I'm gonna show you my new tier list for the commanders considering all the change we got in the PvE. To determine the correct rank for each commander inside this tier list, I decided to use three main evaluation criteria. The first criteria is an evaluation of the skill and the statistic of the commander in a mathematical way. The second is use the commander in real battle and field to see his performance in every context. And finally I consider how much the commander is synergic with the other commander used on the meta, and also how much the characteristics of the commander are unique and irreplicable. The first commander I'm gonna talking about is Adune. She is a damage dealer, but don't do any kind of damage. It's not enough for be part of a team right now, and for this reason I suggest you to don't use Adune. Then we have 𝒆𝒚𝒘𝒐𝒓𝒅𝒔, another commander damage dealer that have 4 skill, and that is probably the only one with 4 damage skill on the game. But even with that I consider them just D tier, cause there's too much better option and easiest to bring to a Zenith level. And if you invest a lot on a commander, cause for invest on an epic to bring that to Zenith there's a lot of money to spend, you don't want to spend that kind of money on 𝒆𝒚𝒘𝒐𝒓𝒅𝒔. Aragorn II is another commander that stay very good in a D tier, inferior than 𝒆𝒚𝒘𝒐𝒓𝒅𝒔 in my opinion. As free to play, if you have just them it's fine, but don't invest on them. Then we have Aragorn King of Men that I consider C tier is superior than classic DD like 𝒆𝒚𝒘𝒏 and Aragorn, cause deals damage and also is good cause have superior statistic, you don't need to ascend that for be decent, and give you some protection versus crowd control. Then we have a series of very bad commander. We have Arwen that deals nothing, we have 𝒆𝒚𝒄𝒅 that deals nothing, we have Balin that deals nothing, and then Bard that's also decent, can deal some damage reduction for the enemy damage dealer, so I feel confident to place that in a D tier. Now it's the time to talk about Bjorn. In my previously tier list, Bjorn was S+. After the change that the PvE bring inside the game and inside the meta, I consider Bjorn just S-, still a very great damage dealer, but not anymore the biggest damage dealer of the game. We test them a lot of time inside the PvE with multiple enemy and multiple formation, and he didn't perform bad, just not at the top. Then in a row we have Beruthiel, don't use, we have Black Serpent, don't use, we have Boromir, don't use, and we have Celeborn, don't use. Simply all the commander in don't use are commander that is almost nothing for your formation, so you can use all the commander in S+, S, S-, A, B, C. You can also think to use D and F, but the don't use, never invest on them right now. 𝒆𝒐𝒏 now is a very strong commander, even stronger than the past, receive a little buff on skill, but that is not the important point. The main reason cause he's stronger than before is cause the meta is changed, and now 𝒆𝒐𝒏 have a big role on that. So I wanna place 𝒆𝒐𝒏 in a S-, just a step under Bjorn, but it's not inferior than Bjorn, it's at the same level as utility for sure. Then we have Círdan that I want to place them on a F tier as healer, cause you can use them in a PvE team, it's not so bad, but in a PvP team I don't suggest you absolutely. And now we have the king of the damage dealer, we have Dane that take the top of the S+ tier. Right now inside the game we didn't have a damage dealer comparable to Dane in terms of damage dealing, so for this reason I consider them the top of the S+, cause it's just the top one of the damage dealer. Then we have Denethor that is completely useless, so don't use him. We have Dwalin that is usable at free to play or low spender, so I'm gonna place them on D tier. Then we have Elladan that go in don't use, Elrohir that go in don't use, and also Herald go on don't use. I know there's a lot of fun of Herald, but for now it's really bad. Then we have Éomer, another commander that is decent as damage dealer, a bit superior than Aragorn II in my opinion, so I'm gonna place them in D tier. We have Éowyn that go directly in don't use. Then we have Falgin, another commander that take a buff on the PvE, but in overall ranking take a nerf, cause he's not anymore an ST commander. Right now I consider them a B commander. Of course he's still a really good support and also a very great tank, but is not anymore relevant like in the past. Then we have Faramir, a damage dealer, so also support that go directly in don't use. Then Frodo and Sam that receive a little nerf on the PvE, is nothing incredible like oh my god Frodo and Sam is dead, it's still similar to the past, but for the same reason cause Falgin fall down, Frodo Frodo and Sam received the same destiny, and so I placed them in a C tier. Then we have Galadriel, a commander that deals damage, also CC and also healing. So very complete kit, but excel in nothing. Still very usable, and for this reason I'm gonna place that under Falgin on a B tier. Now we talk about Gandalf the Grey, a commander we underestimate a lot in the past, but the fact he bring a White Council to the table, it's enough for consider them a commander that deserve the A tier right now. I see Gandalf the Grey runned in a lot of secondary team with great result, and for this reason I think the A tier is deserved for them. White Council is just too strong. Now it's the time to talk about a commander that everyone have to use in the primary team. We talk about Gandalf the White. Is essential, absolutely essential in his team wanna win at high level, mid level, low level. Is just too strong. White Council and White Rider and also the stun are just incredible. The kit of Gandalf the White is perfect as a support. For this reason Gandalf the White is the second commander that take a place on a S+, a little bit under Dane but still S+. The next commander of the list is Gil-galad, a commander that have a place right now in the meta tier inside the PvE, so it's very strong and fundamental for each team who wanna compete, but not at the same level of Dane and Gandalf the White, so for this reason I consider them S tier, not S+, cause there's a lot of way for play without Gil-galad and have still great result. Then we have Gimli, a commander that deals a very good damage. If wailed it's very strong, but at the same time is not at the level of Dane for example, so for this reason I'm gonna place that in a A tier cause it's just damage but is not enough for be at the level of Dane. Then we have Glasha, a support with decent damage reduction buff, with madness and also normal attack damage reduction. For this reason I want to place them in a D tier. Is a decent support you can use as free to play or in a second team and third team if you are evil, but is not something you want to spam on your main team. Then the series of trash, we have Gorbag, don't use, we have Gottmog, don't use, we have Grima, don't use, we have Grisnak, don't use, we have Aldir, don't use, we have Irgon, don't use, we have Imrail, don't use. Then Isildur that have a place on a C tier cause receive a good buff during the PvE, now it's performing decent at the level of King of Men and Frodo, but still is not enough for be considered better than C tier. Then we have Khaldun that take a place on a don't use, and we have Camul that take a place on a F tier, not don't use, cause you can use it in PvE with the Nazgul skill you can clean very easy the tile. Then the King of the Dead that is still don't use. We have Kirun that even if receive a new skill in my opinion is F tier, is not enough for consider them a good tank right now. Then we have Lotr that I consider like Camul but better, you can place that in D tier. If you use that in PvE it's very strong, if you use that in PvP in a second team it's decent, so D tier is pretty deserved. Then we have Legolas that in my opinion is one of the worst damage dealer that you can use, so F tier for them. Then Lurs that in my opinion is a solid B tier under Galadriel and Falgin. Lurs have a lot of damage of course, but is not so strong in this meta, there's too much way for reduce them and there's too much better damage dealer to use. Then we have Maltok and also Merry and Pippin that go in don't use. Of course you can use Merry and Pippin just for refill your army at the fort. Then the Mother of Sauron that take a place close to Glasha on a D tier as a support. It's decent cause can debuff, can be annoying but is nothing special, a bit inferior than Glasha cause didn't have the madness. We also have Oglur as a tank and also as a damage dealer, in my opinion is an F tier, is not fantastic in nothing, can deals a bit of damage, can deals a bit of tankiness. Then we have Ori and also Kurvan that go directly in don't use. Then we have Radagast that is F tier cause it's good for PvE, you can take a lot of tile with the healing, you don't gonna lose a lot of troop, but on PvP is nothing important. Then we have Saruman, the commander that received the biggest buff inside the PvE. Right now Saruman is just insane, it's very strong cause deals more damage than before, it's also very strong cause it's the best way for cancel the White Council, so it's absolutely what the evil need for fighting the meta right now, and for this reason I want to place them in a S tier. It's not S+ cause it's not at the level of the Dane in terms of damage, but it's still very solid S commander. And talking about S commander, we have also Sauron and take a place on a S tier. The amount of CC of Sauron Sauron are unique, and also the statistically decrease that inflict on the enemy commanders is just very useful in each team you wanna play them. Then we have Shagrat and also Sharku that take place on a don't use. Then we talk about Skalhelm that potentially have an insane amount of damage for be one of the best damage dealer of the game, but right now the meta limited them with evasion, white cancel and other stuff. So for this reason I want to place them in a S minor at the same level of Sestaro. Better for damage but less important in terms of utility. Then we have Signing that take place on a don't use. Then we have the Sharp that take place on a A tier, is still one of the best for burning stack of the white console, is still a very solid damage dealer. Then we have the Undying that receive buff and also the mechanic of the evasion receive buff, because now the counter attack didn't remove anymore the stack of the evasion, so the evasion of the Undying is even stronger than before. For this reason now it's considered the best alternative to Gil-galad, and I'm gonna place them on a S-. And then we have Thorin that I want to place them in don't use cause receive a nerf during the PB, a commander that was already bad, receive a nerf, now I have only 2 skills for damage dealing. Then there's Thranduil that I want to place on a F tier, there's some formation where you can use them but it's not fantastic in general. Of course Treebeard is still don't use, we have Ugluk that is still don't use, we have Uktak that is still don't use, we have also Yuzra that is still don't use, and also Zegrid that is still don't use, and for last we have the Witchkin that is a support and stay on a C tier, have decent amount of CC, but overall the kit is not enough for justify to use them in a meta formation. So this is my final tier list of the commanders of the PvE. In my opinion is the actual true of the commanders of the PvE, because I made a million of tests for do that, so I hope that can help you to take your decision in the future. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like it, just smash like on that and also subscribe to my channel if you're not already. Let me know in the comment what you think about this tier list and if you like the change we got in the PvE. As always, I wanna remember you have an affiliated link with the game that allow you to buy gems from the official site of the game, and if you choose to use my link, the devs gonna recognize me a little commission of what you spend and you're gonna support directly my channel. I'm gonna leave you the link on the description of the video and also in the first comment. Again, thank you for following me and see you in the next. Woo!